good joke. You see me move around a whole bunch, it's because I am nervous. I had Coach Hartzell out there stretching me out. Now if I get all that coffee and everything, I may be okay, you know. But I'm excited to come to Kentucky, and this sounds a little bit strange, but since I was a little kid, I wanted to come to Kentucky because I grew up in Cody, Wyoming, which is near Yellowstone and National Park. And in my neighborhood, there were two types of kids, because about 4 o'clock every day after school, you had your choice between Batman and Daniel Boone. And I was a Daniel Boone guy from the very beginning. And so, you know, I packed around my little gun. I said, I'm going to go to Kentucky. Let's pretend this is Kentucky. So now here I am in Kentucky. The other thing is I think coaching is the greatest profession in the world. I went to law school at Pepperdine University. In about my 3rd year of law school, just before I graduated, I'm sitting there watching the football game one day on TV, and I'm kind of depressed and everything, saying, well, here I'm about to graduate, and you know, pretty soon I have to wear a suit all the time. I have to go out and be an attorney. I have to, you know, sit and write papers, sit in libraries. And, you know, I got to thinking between the television in the bathroom and the television and the refrigerator, other than avoiding it, I didn't think about law at all. All I thought about was, you know, I think about football, I think about baseball, and I think about, well, geez, you know, this team would be better if they did this or if they did that. And so I broke it to my wife that we're going to pack up the car and we're going to move to San Luis Obispo, California, and I'm going to coach football for a year. And she said, well, I guess that would be all right for a while. How much are you going to get paid? And I said, $2,500. She said, a month? I go, no, for the whole year. And so, you know, that's kind of how it all started. I figured I'd do it 2 years, get out of my system, grow up, and then go back and be an attorney, but I've been doing it for 11 years, and so, you know, it's kind of like being a cowboy or a pirate or something. I mean, you just keep doing it. But real quickly, I mean, just to kind of tell you what kind of offense we run, somebody back there said about not knowing how to use it. I don't know how to use this thing at all. Just kind of how we came out last year, and our idea of being balanced is taking what they give us. And so, you know, if we're equal number in the tackle box, then we're going to run it at them. If we have they have more in the tackle box than we do, we're going to throw it. As a result, we throw it all the time. Our quarterback at Valdosta State, which is where I'm from, with Coach Mummy, is going to be in the East-West Shrine Bowl game. And pretty good-looking guy. Looks kind of like Tim Couch, not quite as heavy or anything. But here's how he came out. And we've done better than this before, and we've done worse than this before. This would be better than average. 12 games. I'll have the stats on the 13th game. We bailed out of town that pretty quick. Yeah, let me get it all. I'm left-handed, so I'll wipe it off as I go. So I'll put it up there once I get. Now this is completion. You won't be able to read it anyway. Something makes a difference. This is just our start run of that. Okay. Okay. With that said, our quarterback in 12 games, 317 completion of 491 attempts, 64.6%. A guy named Chris Hatcher that's coming to be our GA here, he was at Central Florida before coaching. He did 72% and won the Harlan Hill Trophy. Then he had, Lance had 12 interceptions, 37 touchdowns, 3,932 yards. This was our starting running back. He had 172 carries, 1,235 yards, 7.2 yard average. And, you know, part of what allowed us to get the high average as far as rushing the ball was we wouldn't call runs unless we had an equal number of folks in there. But the main emphasis that we do is we throw the ball about 75% of the time. And what we want to do is we want to get the ball in the hands of the guys that can score as often as possible. And we also want to get it in the hands of all 6 skill positions on the football field, so that the defense has to defend not just the whole field, but every position that we can get the ball in their hands as well. This film, I'm going to show you a film now. It's like 5 minutes, and it's a highlight tape, and it's really not that good. Once again, we kind of hurried along and put together a little highlight tape. It's from 3rd generation videos and things like that. I don't know how to do any of this, but just push the button, right? Oh, there we go. Shoot, it's amazing the buttons look different. I got no idea. Now these highlights are just offense, so it kind of gives you an idea of our offense. So if you have any doubt who were the ones on offense, yeah. We're the team in the black jerseys here. Yeah, it should have been. Should have been all set, ready to go. There's only 5 minutes of it, so it wouldn't be very long. Yeah, I checked it back to the office. I guess the only thing would be this isn't Super VHS, is it? Yeah. Yeah. We got special music here too. not last year, the year before, we caught 111 balls, which was 5 off the all-time national record. That just gives you kind of some ideas of our routes. We run we run several routes, but our deep drop routes, we have 5 of them. And the key that I think is made us successful, everybody's got their own theories and ideas, but what I really believe has helped us is we try to keep everything as simple as possible. And we try to get a lot of reps of the same drills that we do from one practice to the next. We have a deal where when a player gets out to the football field, it's football immediately, as soon as he steps onto the field. If he needs to stretch or get his ankle taped, anything like that, he takes care of that on his own before he comes out to the football field. We don't stretch during practice, and we don't run sprints during practice. And on our heavy work days, which is Tuesday and Wednesday, we go for an hour and 45 minutes. Now, but we do warm up. We do start out gradually so the muscles get warm, and you know, rather than just go out there and all of a sudden start running sprints. We start out slowly. The first drill that we do, it's a pre-practice drill. As they're coming out on the field, rather than tossing footballs around, doing long bombs, things like that, and then having a stretch period or something like you see happens, and exactly like I would do when you know, when I was playing. The first thing you do, go out there, unstretch, and say, hey, here, go long, you know. We want them catching as many balls as possible, as many positive reps as we can possibly get. And the first drill we have is called the noose drill. Noose or settle up are really 2 names that it's gotten. And we have, what it is it's on we start out on the sideline of the field, and we set up a stand-up dummy. 2 stand-up dummies, and they're 5 yards apart, and they straddle one of the lines going across the field. Okay, we have the centers out here, and they're snapping to the quarterback, you know, shotgunning up close, mainly shotgun, and this is where we get a lot of our work in on shotgun snaps. Okay, the quarterbacks are all lined up here. Actually, each quarterback's got a separate station. We'll run about 4 stations here. And then the receivers all split up, and they're lined up back here one at a time. And this is 1/4 to half speed is what we do here. Quarterback's right here like this. This is 1/4 to half speed. We do this every single day. Doesn't matter if it's the first game of the season, last game of the season. Every single practice we start out with this. And these dummies represent defenders. And what the receiver's going to do is he's going to, like he's running some kind of a crossing pattern or dig or settling into a zone there on the field. He's going to just kind of move around and then finally settle closer to, he settles right here, so closer to this dummy than to this dummy right here. Okay, with the quarterbacks, as he settles closest to this dummy represents a defender in the zone. The quarterback's aiming for this number right here. Can everybody see? Yeah. He's aiming for the number to this side right here. So the quarterback releases the ball soft. The receiver catches it and turns and goes straight upfield. And we're big on tucking, catching, turning, and go straight upfield. So he comes across, slow, just kind of settling his leg. Here's a dummy here. We're going to say this dummy's at the edge of this. And finally, he settles here with his numbers square to the quarterback like this. And we're real particular about how his hands are. We're going to teach him to catch the ball in his hands. Now, we understand the course of a game. He may body catch one. He may do some acrobatic catch when it's not necessary to get 15 yards. When he does that, we're going to say, good job, good catch. Okay, but nevertheless, we're doing this 1/4 speed, so we want precision. And when you get 22 people out there on the field, and bullets start going off, your technique's going to deteriorate a little. So our notion is we start out perfect technique, start out here and we deteriorate to here. We're better off than if we started out here and deteriorated to here. And so very low mode drill, but we're real fussy about technique on it. So I come in, work on shoulders over my feet, then I square my numbers to the quarterback, settle in right here. This is a noose right here with the fingers and the thumbs catching or touching right here. This isn't. We don't want the arms stretched out here so that if the ball hits his hands kind of hard and he doesn't catch it right away and it bounces forward, then he can't go get it. But we don't want a guy to jam himself right here, so that it bounces off his hands, he can go get it here. If it bounces back, he can adjust to it here. So he's just like this. Quarterback, I'm closer to this dummy than this dummy. Quarterback should tell me which way to turn upfield. He should put it on this number right here. I get on this number right here, tuck it this side, turn and go straight upfield. And we're real particular on the turn. We don't want, some kind of wide turn. We want it straight upfield right now. And so that this guy overshoots my hip. And the other thing, as they turn and go straight upfield, and we have film on it every year, you'll see defenders doing the "I thought you had him" type of thing with one another. We're not, and at times they're going to go right at us and they're going to knock us down, but there's no decision-making process with our wide receivers. We're going to catch the ball, turn and go straight upfield. We don't have to think about nothing because it's going to be automatic reaction. Goes straight upfield. And all this stuff that we do, we've really borrowed and taken from various teams and just kind of packaged it and do it sort of our way. And that turn and go straight upfield we got from the 49ers. We'd watch them on TV and we'd talk to them and and they'd always talk about how many yards they got after the catch. In the meantime, the quarterback's doing this. The quarterback, he's got a line right here. This is like a sideline, see? Okay, his sideline's right here. The quarterback's starting here under the center. Great tech, we want his stance perfect. We've got one coach on the receivers, one coach on the quarterback. Great stance right here. We like him to have a high stance because we want him to see the field, and plus he's getting ready to pull out of there to pass. But as he drops down this line, say it's a 5-step drop, we're going to say we want him to do 3 long steps, 2 short steps. And the other drop will be a 7-step drop. 5 long, 2 short. First step, we want him to get as much ground as possible. Now, there's a strong likelihood I'm going to fall down because I have these shoes that I never wear other than when you're supposed to. And, you know, my balance and it's probably horrible. But anyway, so he's going to get as much ground with this first step as he possibly can, pushing the ball up to his armpit right here. So the ball's, you know, kind of simultaneous motion. This ball's going right up to his armpit right here, eyes straight away. And this step should be on this side of the line. This step should be on this side of the line. This step should be on this side. And then, here we go. 3 long, 2 short. 1, 2, 3, and then this is more of a gather step right here on this side. 4, 5. Now he wants to open with this shoulder slightly this way. And the reason we do it that way is this. Let me get here where we can see. So this foot ends up on this side of the line when it's all over. If I'm like this, I can see about half the field real well. If I'm like this, I can still see this half of the field, and then I don't have to turn my whole body around to throw back side right here like this. And the other thing is every quarterback we've ever had, there's a surprising number. They take their drops, you know, that are just going to veer it this way or veer it this way. I mean, you go in there thinking, well, you know, surely he'll just go straight back from the center, you know. And we have a huge amount that don't, so we don't want any wasted motion. So we're working the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And looking over to this side of the field and in a great position to step to this side of the field and throw this side. His hips are already open to this side. And then if he has to go to this side, then just a natural step that way. And his shoulder's already pointing that way as well. So we're real specific, you know, technique's got to be flawless there. The next drill we do, we start out, and everybody does this drill. I'll go over real quickly. It's just this. Quarterbacks are here. Receivers line up here. Quarterbacks are right here. Receivers are here. Okay, we start out with 3-step drops by the quarterback. Quarterback takes a 3-step drop right here. He's just coming off slow, like kind of a hot read or something like that. Quarterback's just putting it in his hands nice and soft. And this guy's about half speed at this point. And so, you know, we've gone from quarter speed to half speed. And he catches his ball. He runs all the way over here. There's these quarterbacks, and they do it all over again. One side is over the right shoulder, the other side is over the left shoulder. And that just goes on until there's always some big tall kid that you know, is always stretching in between reps, and he doesn't loosen up as quickly. So we asked him. We said we have this one guy named Beanpole. He plays for the Chiefs now. He's big tall kid, about 6'5", 255 or so. He's kind of a tight end slot. And goes back and forth between the practice squad. We said, Beanpole, are your legs ready? Are your legs loose yet? Not yet, coach, you know, so go a few more reps. So. And finally, his legs are loose, quarterback's arms loose, and almost chance of me getting that on. Anyways, when his legs are loose, quarterback's arms are loose, then we go ahead and we go 5-step and 7-step drop, and then the receivers are 3/4 to full speed. And then what we're doing there is a coach lines up right here, like in press coverage, and we're kind of a big foot fire team. Every defensive back coach that you ever say this to says, well, that's easy, we're just going to sit on it. Well, I guess, but it's worked for us. You know, in most cases, on teams we've had do it, there might be one guy that'll really sit on it, and you got to go to something else. But for the most part, nobody else is going to sit on it. I believe this. An offensive player, if an offensive player's mind is like an hourglass, the gap that the sand runs through is about that big. a defensive player, but Sam's running through a huge gap. That's a huge gap. I mean, he's panicking. If something's not happening right now, he's panicking because he's thinking, if I can beat that 6 points and everybody sees me. The receiver says, if I drop a ball, you know, he's going to, you know, get upset, but it's just not the same level of intensity. So Coach stands, I'm the receiver, Coach stands here, I'm going to flip fire, which is give the illusion that I'm giving up ground this way, that I'm going this way. So I'm moving my hands and my feet real quick and to the direction that I want to go. You don't want to take big steps because any ground that you give up here, you've got to make back up to come around you. But I want to go this way. I want to get around you this way. So then, now obviously the greatest thing would be if he flies out of there like a madman, you just run past him and go upfield. Now that usually doesn't happen. It's more like if you're a pitcher trying to pick off a guy at second base or something. So you go like this, and you know, first they're going to want to, now I got to get out of here. Oh, he didn't do anything. Here I go, you know. But if you just be patient, you'll notice all that guy's weight's eventually going to be on this foot right here. When all that weight gets on that foot right there, you rip and go past him, and you're going to have a great release. Now, there are a handful of guys that can sit on, but there's a lot less guys that can sit on. I mean, like 90% can't sit on, but from my experience, to the 10% that can, and you just got to operate differently with them. But you're just looking for his weight to get on that foot, just like if I'm stealing second base. Here's first base right here. I'm stealing second base. This pitcher's a real sharp guy. So all my weight's on this foot right here. You know, I haven't committed enough, but all my weight's here. If he throws and I can't get back because I've already committed this direction. So, you know, it's just, and then, you know, as coach, you wait till they do it. And you really make them do it a while. You know, you make them work at it, and you go. Then off they go. But if they want to go this way, you know, off they go. And we do that a lot. It's been real good to us. Now, I recognize the fact that that's one of the most controversial points. Defensive guys are always saying, well, that's easy, we'll just sit on that. Two great guys I saw doing it. There was that guy, and I can't even remember his name. It's either, there was Duper and Clayton, and the heavier guy was awesome at it at the Dolphins, for the Miami Dolphins. Duper and Clayton played at the same time. The heavier guy was awesome at this. After we do, we air it out, and what we do when we air it out is this. This is kind of our philosophy on this. Quarterback's in here. I'm looking into the quarterback. The receiver's going to come over, or the ball's going to come over my outside shoulder, and I snap the eyes this way. When we go upfield, and this is in a game, this kind of to tell you what this relates to. If this is a sideline right here, and these are the numbers, we'll start out at the top of the numbers with our receivers as far as alignment usually. And the DB is going to fight real hard to, you know, push you to the sideline so you don't have any space left. And so you want to fight to not give up that ground, because this is your margin of error right here. Quarterback has, if you're able to go straight upfield like this, somewhere in here, receiver ends up somewhere in here, then he's got all this area here to adjust to the ball. He's right here on the sideline. He's got very little. That's got to be a perfect pass right there with the DB on his hip right here. That's got to be a perfect pass for him to catch if he's right here on the sideline. So what we're getting at there is have somebody step up here. Yeah. Okay. So if he's the corner, a couple things. Now, first of all, if I do this and he bites here, and I beat him, let's say I just really kill him. Okay, then what do I want to do? I want to go to where I saw him last. Okay, if he's there, I want to go to where I saw him last. I get past him and say, all right, I know I beat him. I know I'm past him. He's really screwed up here. I'm past him. Okay, where did I see him last? I saw him to my inside last, so I want to go to my inside. And you're saying, well, that's where he's standing. Well, the thing is if he's right here, this guy beats me to the receiver beats him to the outside, the first thing he's going to do is go to the outside. The receiver was to the outside. I'm going to the outside. Well, you're one step ahead of him. You already went to the inside. And so if you're really beating bad, go to the place you saw him last. Okay, that's usually not going to happen. Okay, so we flip fire. I get him leaning, but he's a fantastic athlete. So we get to this relationship right here. Okay, we're about 15 yards upfield. All right, ball's in the air. He's leaning on me to go this way. Okay, now I don't want to just give up this way. What's weird, and you got to work on them like I found that you got to work on receivers like that. Just the presence of a body bothers people. You know, the fact that everybody's got their little space. I mean, if you want to make somebody nervous, go up to them and talk like this all the time. You know, I mean, that bugs the hell out of somebody. And or the other thing you can do, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so receivers, you'll see them just start drifting just because that guy's there and he wants to put his hand on your hip and everything like that. Well, you've got to lean on him right here a little bit. As he leans on me, I got to lean on him. The reason I got to lean on him is because in the back of his head, I want him thinking, this guy might be running the post. What if this guy's running the post? So even though I'm doing a fade or an up route, I want to lean on him here. Because he's got to keep thinking the whole time, what if he runs the post? And so then, he's not fully committed to really shoving you outside. You got to be the one that leans on him. Get him thinking, what if this guy's running the post? Okay. So then we're still leaning on each other. He's still fast. He's like Dion or somebody. Okay, now we're in trouble. I am in single coverage, which is good. I got a bunch of space, which is just a little further than that wall right there to adjust to the ball. Because even though I can't outrun him, I have leaned on him, and I have not, you know, up to the bottom of the numbers, say. I started out the top of the numbers, now I'm to the bottom of the numbers, but I'm nowhere near that sideline. I'm giving myself a lot of space to work. Can't outrun him. He's leaning on me. Okay, I'm looking at the quarterback. Okay, now I don't want to put my hands up until the ball's right there, till the last second I have to. Because if I put my hands up right here, he knows something's up. So I'm like this. Okay, ball's in the air. I'm leaning on him like this. And then he's thinking, maybe it's a post, maybe it's a post. As the ball comes here, I catch it right here. Okay, then if he's going to get it, he's got to commit the eye to get it. The other thing you can do is you can gear it down. Okay, I see it. My hands aren't up. I see it. The ball's coming. Okay, but it's going to be short. So I slow down. I keep leaning on it, post, and then I can fall back here to get the ball. We work on that a lot. It's not very easy. It takes a while to get them. I'm going to say that's the single hardest. I appreciate it. That's the single hardest thing that I find to get a receiver to be able to do is that vertical ball like that. The other thing is, so that's what we get to with pat and go is that eyes over the top like this, looking at the quarterback and snapping the eyes. Okay, then everybody asks everybody, what's the best drill that you run? You know, and every high school coach that walks into my office, I say, what's the best drill that you run? And as a matter of fact, way back when, George Allen used to do that, and then he wrote them all down and published 2 books, you know. But and I ask our players at the end of every year, what's the best drill that we run? And it's all split down the middle. You get no idea. So for what it's worth, in my humble opinion, this is what I think is the best drill that we run. And this drill, I get about 50-50 on this. The run guys think it's ridiculous, and the pass guys pretty much love it. But let me just write this thing up where I don't make a mess, and then we'll just go over real quick. you all. Okay, this is one of our plays right here. This play here is 95, and we call this play routes on air. Now these are on the hash, or just slightly outside of it since they moved in the hash. Put dummies 2. Now this is to simulate the zone. We see a lot of cover 2 since we throw the ball all the time. If we're playing a team that's running cover 3, we set these dummies up in cover 3. Now there's that cover 4, now there's that Dallas Cowboys stuff where the safeties all come forward. Whatever we think we're going to see, we set up the dummies in that configuration. So it's, you know, it's basically you got a strong safety, who these are representing. You know, and we set them where they would have dropped to, not where they originally aligned. So like, for example, this dummy here, the linebackers are dropped at approximately 9 yards, 7 to 9 yards. These guys are about 15 to 17 yards, the safeties. And we set these stand-up dummies here. They represent men who have dropped to their zones. Okay, then we got all our receivers lined up behind their respective position. All the H's are right behind his position. Okay, each quarterback has a ball. We call this routes on air. Each quarterback has a ball. Okay, the starting quarterback always gives the cadence. Go hit. Okay, all the quarterbacks drop simultaneously. Once again, forcing them to drop straight so they don't bang into the guy next to them. So everybody's dropping that straight. We don't assign them really. The quarterbacks deal this off themselves, but the quarterbacks all drop back simultaneously with the ball. The receivers all run the route for 95. We call this 95, and this would be all their routes in 95. And the reads go like this. Okay, so there's a lot of things here really that I like about this drill. The first thing is every quarterback's got to have a drop. The second thing is that some quarterbacks messed up as far as his drop. You're going to see it. The other thing I like is every quarterback is throwing a ball to somebody. The other thing I like is every receiver's catching the ball. Because when I was a receiver, Dion wasn't really around then, but you go and you pretend Lester Hayes was around them. You go up there and you pretend you're against Lester Hayes. Hey, you know, here we are, Cody Stadium, you know, Cody High School, Lester Hayes, you know, off we go, you know, and you run a great route and you don't get a ball, you know. And here I'm beating Lester. I'm doing my part, and he's not throwing the ball to me, you know. And well, every one of these receivers gets a ball, and then they catch it, turn, go straight upfield, and score. We make every one of them score, and here's where the sprints part come in. The stretch, we got past that by starting them out slow, gradually doing practice things that involve what we do, which is catch the ball, turn and go upfield, catching, throwing, catching, throwing, catching, throwing. Well, now the sprints part starts to kick in. Every ball that they catch, they have to catch it, turn and go straight upfield until they score. They have to run it into the end zone. Now we do this, I don't know, from about the 40, 45. And so every ball they catch, they turn and go straight upfield and run to the end zone. Because we want, in their head, every time they catch a ball, that's an opportunity to score. We want them to see any time they have a ball as an opportunity to score. Okay, now the first read is this one, which means that this quarterback should release his ball first. If his ball isn't the first one released, then he's fouled up his read, because their eyes need to be going to this read. He needs to read this, and since he's got the first read, release his ball, but then his eyes need to go here, 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 here. Now you can't sit there and follow 5 sets of eyes like this, you know. But you can kind of track where the balls are going. Okay, if the guy that's throwing to F, if his ball ends up going about thirds, you know that guy didn't do what he's supposed to do. Okay, first ball, all right, X has got his ball, Y's got his ball. Oh, wait a second. Z's got his ball. No, H is supposed to have his ball next, you know. And so you can teach them to throw the ball where you want them to. In the course of the, you know, you can teach the quarterbacks to read, the quarterbacks to drop, and then after they each throw a ball, we rotate them. So this quarterback slides down one, he slides down one, he slides down one, and then this guy goes here. So each quarterback is throwing every single route of that one play. And, you know, because a lot of times you get a quarterback and he's got his buddy who's a great player. He's already a great player. Doesn't, you know, he needs practice still, but you need to develop other people too. So, you know, he's always throwing it to the big gun receiver. Well, this one facilitates every quarterback throwing a ball to every single route in the course of the play. You know, his favorite place to throw it might be the tight end, but he still, at some point in this drill, is going to throw it to F. And you rotate him through. We have a 15-minute period every day, and we do only 2 plays. We do a quick game play, and we do a 90 play every day. And different days of the week represent different plays. Okay, now these receivers, you're also coaching them on this. If he settles behind this dummy, that's no good, because that's a defender. He needs to learn to settle the grass. Now, he could settle here if he wanted to, or he could settle back here if he wanted to, but behind this dummy's not very good at all. This guy here, he could potentially settle here, or settle over here by the sidelines, but not behind those dummies. And then quarterbacks that throw over dummies, we mentioned that to them too. Don't throw over a dummy. That's a guy that can intercept a ball. Throw into passing lanes, throw to grass, find grass. And this drill could also be called find grass. So it also allows each receiver to catch the ball. You don't really wear out your receivers, although they'll tell you that we do. You know, as soon as this guy finishes his play, the second X goes in. Off he goes, the third X, the fourth, you know, and they just keep rotating through. Every time catching the ball, every time turning and running and scoring. Every time settling the grass instead of practicing to be covered. Don't practice to be covered. Each quarterback probably throws each route 4 times, I'm going to say.
And then 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. And I think that's our best drill because we get a lot of reps. Everybody gets a lot of reps, and even though we got them working pretty hard, they're relatively happy because they're catching the ball. Every day we do one-on-one with our starting receivers and our starting DBs. We have 2 pass skills. We script the zones of the field. On the open field, we have an open field pass skill, and then halfway through, we switch to the 30-yard line going in, and the plays we like to run at that part of the field. So you work on pass skill when the field's reduced and when it's wide open. And then in team, once again, it's score every time. It doesn't matter if we hand the ball off to the guy on the -3-yard line, he's going to run and score, unless, of course, the defense has a drill going, and he can pull up just shy of that drill. But he has to run and score a touchdown every play. Another drill that I don't have time to describe too much that I think is really good is, and we do this kind of pre-practice and post-practice, but, you know, everybody, it's always kind of a struggle for people to throw a fade route. How do you get the fade route and the loop on it and enough air under it? And the biggest problem we have is our guys who are starting out always want to throw a fade route too flat. We'll get a big old plastic barrel just like that one there, and we set it on the back cone of the end zone, and the quarterbacks, and it's always after practice, because pre-practice we're doing that new drill. They'll drop back, and they'll try to make baskets. And release it, try to make a basket into that barrel. And they do it over and over, and they have competitions, and they make bets, and they point fingers and laugh at one another if they miss it by a lot. They taunt them if they make it. But, you know, after a few days of this, and we do it all season long, you know, they start getting those high-arcing balls that are great for fade routes. If we have a guy that's having a tough time catching a ball, he's dropped a bunch in practice. After practice, we'll take him over to the goal post and, you know, catch 100 balls. So he stands by the goal post like this, so that he's got to catch it in his hands. He catches it and tucks it, catches it and tucks it, catches it and tucks it. And then the quarterback, what we work on with the quarterback there, he can throw it any way he wants, but one drill that's pretty good is he holds the ball high like this and works on turning his thumb down, so that, you know, making the ball come off this finger but getting the wrist snap going. So the guy's here, and he's about 5 yards off, and he just throws it to him in that fashion right there. You know, some guys like to do this business here. And it's a pretty good drill to help out drop balls. The other thing is our spring football. Coach Mummy's still discussing the dates that we're going to have those. It's going to be approximately mid-March to mid-April. Any practice at spring football is open for anybody that wants to come up and watch. After practice, coaches will be available to go into the meeting rooms, cover any ground you want to, watch any film you want to. So you just come to a practice, check it out, say, hey, I've got a few questions. The receiver guys come with me. You know, the running back guys go with the running back coach. The line coach, or the line guys go with Coach Morrison. We'll answer questions. You're going to get something in the mail describing the exact dates and the times that we're going to practice. We scrimmage 3 times a week in the spring. We have a lot more contact in the spring than we do during the season. We're trying to evaluate who can play, and then plus they've got some time to heal up. So we scrimmage quite a bit, but after these practices, we'll be available to talk to you. They're still going to have the big clinic and that you know, has happened in the past, and I'm not as aware of as everybody here, but I guess it's quite a deal, and they're trying to have that at the tail end, the clinic and the dinner. But any of our practice